here. Welcome, please, if you will. Knocking on the door. We're welcomed. We're welcomed by. I'm welcoming you. Words are hard, guys. I am welcoming Kate from Ignorance Was Bliss and Jacob Randall from Crime of Your Life. And you guys are headed out on a new venture too. You guys got something new cooking up too, right?
We do.
I'm so
It's
excited.
terrifying.
It's a little terrifying. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you're all about.
We didn't prepare anything. We did. I'm Kate. So my show is called Ignorance Was Bliss. I've been doing podcasting for 4.5 years. I have 417 episodes out. I can stop anytime I want. Um, so I collect stories is what I do. I talk to creators of all sorts, authors, actors, podcasters, and I see how long I can get them to put up with my bullshit. That's me.
Yeah. And I'm one of the people that puts up with the bullshit because I love her so much. And my name is Jacob Randall, and I am the host of a podcast called Crime of Your Life, which is a true crime podcast. That's actually how Kate and I met because she's got a true crime adjacent show. I'm also the co-producer of a horror movie podcast where we interview stars and insiders from horror films. That's called Happy Horror Time. And we're so glad to be back here again for an hour of live stream with The Cure. And I was just thinking, like, if anyone out there is worried that we are not going to make it through this hour and that we're not, like, gonna, that we might fall apart, rest assured, we're worried too. So
That's the kind of energy we love. Love.
We are absolutely positive we're going to fall apart. In fact, we're planning on it.
yeah,
I like to schedule my breakdowns a couple of times a day.
we'll fall apart and then we'll fall back together, and then
It's
it'll
how
all
it
be
works.
worth it. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it so much. The floor is yours. What have you guys got for us today? That shirt is amazing, Jacob.
Oh, thank
Well,
you.
Since
I
you
was
mentioned that, yeah, we decided to hijack the whole concept of the movie genre for podcasting, but also true crime because Jacob and I both have a background that's sort of movie adjacent, true crime adjacent, whatever. And we tonight are going to ruin your favorite movies.
Yes,
That's
we
our
have
plan.
a foolproof plan. It will not fail. Everything will go 100% smoothly. There's not going to be any mistakes. If you remember what happened last year, you remember more than I do because I remember nothing.
You got
And
drunk is what happened last year.
so, yeah, we're hopefully going to be entertaining you guys as we kind of figure this whole thing out. So, Kate, I'm also excited because you promised you were going to do a dramatic reading at the very top.
Oh my god.
The
Well,
stage is yours.
all of them are dramatic, I think. So here's the thought: is that my show is true crime adjacent, as we've said, and that means often I see things through sort of a true crime lens. Plus, I'm a forensic psychologist by training, so I'm judging everybody all the time. Is the answer. And we got talking a little while back about doesn't that plot sound like a true crime story? Like, what if we were to reread that plot as though it's a true crime podcast episode, for instance? So, so Nick, what I'm going to ask you to do is keep an eye on the chat for people calling out answers because I can't do both
I'm gonna
at the
keep an eye on
same.
them for. I'm gonna keep both eyes on them for a number of reasons. They're
Well,
misbehaving all this whole event. They've been
that's
misbehaving.
excellent. Please continue to misbehave as much as possible. That's ideal.
Yeah.
When you think you know what movie one of us is describing, shout it out, tap it out, bang your head on the keyboard, whatever it is you've got to
Would you
do
like me? I can sound out
to get
like
the
a
point
sound
across.
alert or something whenever somebody answers if you want.
Do it. I mean, whatever. You know what? We are as prepared as you are for this, which
All right.
means not at all. We're
This
both
is not
stupid.
a lot.
How's
Yeah.
this work for you?
Well, did he come or what?
I won't really use that one. Artemich, thank you for the raid.
I was like, did you take that from my phone?
Probably.
Yeah. So by the way, these descriptions of these movies / true crime stories, true stories. We wrote them ourselves, so we can't promise that this is gonna, really ring a bell with you. So good luck.
I frankly hope it doesn't, because if
Right.
all of them you get them in 4 words, I'm like, well, okay, cool. Now we have 48 minutes of silence,
Exactly.
which is scarier to me, honestly, than any true crime I've dealt with. So, yeah, you want me to start? Shall we
Whenever you're
fight?
ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my first movie. Also, I just did have COVID, so in advance, if I cough or sneeze or otherwise make terrible bodily noises, anybody blame COVID.
I'll
Sorry.
blame Gerald.
Oh, okay, that's also fair. Fine, fine,
I'll
fine.
blame Canada.
It's probably Canada. Okay. After isolation, climate change, and interpersonal conflict, the birth of a new son is celebrated. While still a child, a conspiracy is developed aimed at wresting power and prestige from the child's father, whose murder is claimed to be the result of a natural disaster. The child witnesses his death and is threatened into silence and denial for the rest of his adolescence. As a young adult, he has been living a life without responsibility or contact with the rest of his family, some of whom know of his innocence and don't care. Others believe he might also have died in the same disaster that killed his father. When he unexpectedly encounters
dick. It's pathetic.
I'm just gonna use random ones. We have an answer in the chat from Phil Rude, Lion King.
That's it. That's it. It's Lion King.
There you go,
Yes,
Phil.
indeed.
Yay. Congratulations, Phil. You figured it out.
Phil is gonna. Phil has a movie podcast, so I feel like he's well prepared. He's better prepared than I am.
Okay. Well, I will go next with mine. Oh, geez, I almost read the title just now.
Yeah, well, I almost did too. I was like, okay, so here's the Lion King. So good. I'm glad.
Okay, so a married couple is going through a painful divorce. There is an intense custody dispute, and the children end up living with their mother, who places an ad in the newspaper in search of a part-time nanny. The father moves into a small apartment and finds new employment, but unable to resist any opportunity to spend more time with his children, he decides to create a fake identity.
Pack 'em in real good and tight.
We have Artemage with Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, good one. Yep, that's
I'm so happy
it.
I have you as my best friend.
Willem, thank you so much for following.
Hey,
That was a
Willem.
good movie. So
That movie is objectively horrifying on so many levels. Like I
There-
remember even when it came out, and I was in my cute little innocent pre-true crime days, like the faked identity, the
I'm so happy I
parents
have you as
splitting
my
up,
best
like there was a
friend.
lot of crying. It was the worst.
Oh
Pond
yeah, and
Plays, thank you for
also
the follow.
Mrs. Doubtfire, there's like a trailer on YouTube that turns the movie into a thriller, so you should definitely take a look at that. But yeah, it's a movie with so much crime and no accountability. So
Well, there's many of these are. Many of these are.
your turn.
This one has a little of both crime and accountability. Well, it has a lot of crime and a little accountability. On the East Coast of the United States, 6 young women have been abducted, drowned, and mutilated after birth. Authorities have no idea who may be committing the crimes, and the pressure increases when a 7th woman, similar in victimology, goes missing. Meanwhile, a young law enforcement trainee is at the start of her career. She is asked to interview a convicted felon with little to no preparation or training in self protection or interview techniques. It isn't initially made clear to her, but she soon realizes she's not only meeting a convicted serial
I
murderer.
want to see a kid get decapitated.
I don't. That's not called for, Loy Sauce. We have Artemage, Silence of the Lambs.
That's the one. That's the one. And I do want to point out with Silence of the Lambs that we actually have done that in the real world. Like the FBI has sent specifically Ted Bundy is well known for helping visual quotes helping people to track down Gary Ridgway, who is the Green River Killer. So this is not without precedent, but despite it being one of my favorite movies of all time, Sounds of the Lambs is wildly inaccurate at best.
What? How
I
can you
know.
say that? Oh.
Sorry.
I feel like okay.
It's the
no,
accent. That's all. All the rest is real.
Right, exactly.
Love your suit.
I'm
Love
so
ya,
happy I
sir.
have you as
Kristen
my best
Streams,
friend.
thank you for the follow.
Oh, that's my friend Kristen. Hi, Kristen. Thank you
Hello.
for coming by. Okay, I'll be going next because there's only two of us, and that's how it works.
That's how it works.
Okay. An affluent American family is forced to abandon their European vacation when they realize that someone in their tribe has been excluded from the trip and left behind in solitude at their mansion-like home. Meanwhile, a series of break-ins sweep through their neighborhood, and the local police are unable to solve the crimes. But before the traveling
In a
family
few
can make
minutes,
it back,
bitch.
We have Willem checking in first with Home Alone.
There
Yeah,
it is.
that's
Hey, there
You're
it is.
representing right
Good
there.
job. Actually, I don't know much about that movie. I don't even know like what Macaulay Culkin looks like. I wouldn't if he was on it. If I was wearing his face on a shirt, I wouldn't even know it. So, you know.
I see what you did there. Yeah, I actually have a 2 degrees of separation from Macaulay Culkin. He was later or sooner, I don't remember which order. There's a movie called Rocket Gibraltar that he's in, and I went to high school with the director of Rocket Gibraltar's kids.
Nice.
And apparently the Culkins are a tribe that sees the need to go forth and multiply. And they did so during filming of Rocket Gibraltar. And that's where his youngest sibling came from.
We got Stu checking in with a $20 donation from for being unoriginal in the last segment with the pint and Stu World Order. Thank you so much. It was a great segment again talking about horror comedies. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Stu. That's really nice. I noticed you use the word tribe, Kate, and I use that word in my description. So you and I are like on the same level here.
Sharing the brain cell. Yes,
Mhm,
we're like
mhm.
orange cats. We get the cell tonight. It's very exciting. Okay, my turn. This one's an odd one. Okay, a real movie though. I feel like I'm gonna go more true crimey. Hang on, wait, hang on. I can do it. Okay, I can do it. Okay, so like a couple separates before their only child is born, leaving the mother to raise the baby on her own, of course, in a community that has a complicated mix of support, danger, cultural differences, and limited resources. Drink! Before he reaches adolescence, he loses his mother to gun violence. This likely creates fearfulness or even PTSD, or maybe just a bad night. But he receives messages from several sources that he needs to act as though he's in full control and face any amount of isolation or threat with stoicism or violence in return. He eventually reunites with his father, and they learn basic communication, though they never fully reconcile. His father dies, and he goes on to live a life of loneliness.
I wish I had a cricket sound drop for the chat. It's awful quiet over there.
Oh no! Should Kate?
good.
Should you?
It's all good. Do you know what it is?
I have no idea.
It's Bambi.
Oh my god.
Anyway, how is your sex life?
Disney is hell on parents, let me tell you.
That one was a that one stumped them. You know, that was a hard one.
I do. Well, it may be that we don't have very many true crime listeners, or maybe I'm not drunk enough.
Or maybe you're just a really deceptive little podcaster.
I think chat's just in reeling. I think they're just in shock.
All right. Well, here's my next one. Okay, so it's funny because like we work to write these, and we're not getting through most of them, so it's like writing going down the drain. Our brilliant Pulitzer Prize level writing, you know. Okay, so A popular
I'm
athlete.
so happy I have you as my best friend.
Thank you, Jason, for the follow.
Well, I was gonna say, wow, that was really got you really quick.
Oh my god.
A
Brilliant.
popular click.
Correct. Okay. Okay, so a popular athlete assaults a classmate in their high school locker room, and a prom queen commits truancy to go shopping. One of their overachieving peers gets in trouble for bringing a gun to school, which ended up going off in his locker, thereby putting the entire student body at risk. Meanwhile, other students are smoking that wacky tobacco in the parking lot and purportedly drinking vodka whenever, which we all know is highly illegal for minors. So while this group of delinquents are never arrested nor prosecuted in a court of law,
We have Phil Rude Breakfast Club.
that's right. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, they never really like all these things are things that would just get you sent away to prison or a juvenile hall or something at this, at this day and age. So
One would hope, like, yeah, whoops, brought a gun.
well,
Yeah,
for
it's
that,
hard to do that by accident. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Exactly.
So yeah, I can't giggle through this whole one, but this one's kind of sad. It's kind of sad, but there's crimes. There's crimes.
Okay.
A 10-year-old boy is struggling in the aftermath of his mother's death, and his father, who is himself grieving, is barely able to keep it together or recognize the child's needs or trauma. The kid is the target of bullies, with the typical progression from verbal threats to physical assaults. So he begins engaging in shoplifting and truancy. He attempts to distract himself with books and other media, and he carefully avoids the attention of teachers or other authority figures, so he believes he is unobserved and unnoticed. He is particularly drawn to high-paced adventure stories and identifies strongly with other solitary hero characters. He starts to suspect he is being watched. And it soon becomes clear that he is indeed being overtly stalked by an unknown number of people. He feels pressure to care for others, even though no one seems interested in caring for him. And eventually, he changes his priorities from avoiding notice to exacting revenge upon the people that had previously assaulted him.
You got to squirt that freely.
So we have Chantel from Nerd in Texas and Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I don't know if you want to count Phil Rude saying my childhood and then Gerald saying the Phil Rude story. I don't know if you want to count those.
It could be. We are approximately the correct age, Phil, for it to be.
We
It is-
acknowledge those answers.
But they are not correct.
Yes.
It's never-ending story.
And then we had Willem
Never-ending
check
story.
in with that. We had Willem
I
come
was-
in right after that. Yep.
Okay. He can get credit for that. That's our kids like homesick movie. So when we all had COVID, they just watched Neverending Story on repeat.
Thank you,
That's fine.
Artemich.
Yeah. Okay, your turn. Do the
Then
thing.
they watch the never-ending story on repeat.
Never
Isn't that,
ending. Yes.
like,
Yes. It's
doesn't-
meta.
it's not
very
necessary. I don't know.
Inception. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you tell them they can't stop watching it because it's the never-ending story? Is that?
I
She
had
just
COVID
keeps
too. I
re-
didn't much
She
care.
just keeps
Like,
replaying the DVD. Like, no, it's the never-ending story.
just-
You have to keep
look
watching.
Look at the title. Like never ends.
They're missing school. They're So, okay. Here's mine. An imaginative teenager has her beloved dog stolen by an unfriendly neighbor shortly before severe weather threatens to destroy the home she shares with her aunt and uncle. During the ensuing calamity, the young girl suffers a massive head injury
Pod Daddy.
and spends. Damn it!
We have Gerald with Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, Gerald, you got it. You're pretty good at this, I guess, Gerald. You can. Thank you, Gerald.
You can stay.
You can stick around. The Wizard of Stupid Oz. That's fine. No worries. I'm not upset. I'm not worried about it. It's
You're
fine.
good-
It's
You're doing fine. You're
Yeah,
rolling with
it's
it
fine.
very well.
Yeah.
That's very well. Take a turn.
Everything's fine.
You
So-
gotta tear me apart, Lisa!
I just felt like playing that one.
What was that from?
It's from The Room.
Oh, okay.
It's just
I was like, is that from Weird Science? I don't know. I don't know why I thought that. Because I don't know.
That's obscura. That's a callback. Okay.
All right.
I gotta think somebody knows this one. I don't know. I think somebody knows this one. A young woman loses her love interest to violence when he is out of town, ostensibly on a business trip, but there are potential issues of substance abuse and identity theft. She is, over time, able to regain a sense of safety and is living an apparently stable life when, several years later, she is coerced into a relationship with a much older man. He effectively kidnaps her. Without family or other outside supports, she goes along with his demands because she both lacks the financial resources and personal agency to make decisions. This absence of power is underscored when she is assaulted and abducted by strangers who take her over international borders and are overheard discussing plans for her murder.
I did
Repeatedly.
not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her.
Dan
I
says
did
Peter
not.
Pan.
Oh, hi, Mark.
No, well, keep going. Keep going. Ostensibly a parable for love and justice, this really is a story of the utter unimportance of a woman's choices or intelligence if she is not adequately protected by laws and politics.
Wow, Kate, that's like my real life. That was
Same.
beautiful.
Same.
Oh,
That was
so
The Princess
beautiful.
Bride,
Oh wow.
which is my favorite movie, but it's awful, also terrifying and very, very sad.
Gerald, where were
Always
you on
the-
that one? Huh?
You're right. Seriously, Gerald, come on.
Gerald, you got the Wizard of Oz like that. Apparently, you're not the wizard of this game. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Wait, maybe you shouldn't insult people who you're trying to get their money from. I don't know. What did I just do? I'm sorry, Gerald.
Damn it,
You're
Gerald.
pretty, Gerald. You're pretty.
So sorry, Gerald. All right. Okay. So here's mine. A California resident discovers that she may be in danger when she realizes that she shares the same first and last name with two local women who were mercilessly gunned down by an unknown assailant. When it becomes clear that the police cannot provide adequate protection, she hits the road on a journey of survival with a mysterious man who claims that he can defend her. And he
You're not
quickly
my
reveals
dad.
that Ooh, I almost
Terminator from Not Banff.
they're getting mine much faster than yours. I don't oh damn.
I have a lot more feminist rage just lately. I'm not really sure why.
What was the name on that one? I'm sorry.
Not Banff. BAMF.
Not-
Oh, it's Stu. It's Stu from Stu World Order. Thank you, Stu.
Oh, Stu. Thanks again, Stu. Okay.
You have an excellent you need to run I don't know, a podcast maybe or a game show. Thanks, Stu. Like you
I-
really have a
You know, it's the chemistry with you that makes it work,
that's
Kate.
what it is.
That's all,
That's what it is.
And our friend here.
I think it's Nick. I think that's really the answer.
Mhm. I was gonna say our friend Nick here, and then I was like, wait, what if it's not Nick anymore? Oh my god. what if that's not his name? What if I'm messing it up? Oh my god. So
Yeah, well,
that's how my
it's
brain
Nick.
works.
Nick's pretty.
Everything
He's
is
fun.
very high stakes in my brain. So
Same. So there's no stake in this one. There's no stake, no potential really discussion of food at all. But I have a fun fact for after the description about a trivia thing about this one. So movie first. When children begin to behave unusually, one of the first considerations for professionals is whether they might be experiencing neglect, abuse, or infection. Those don't seem to have been even discussed in this depiction, despite the children moving and speaking in unusual, even inexplicable ways. There's evidence of emotional distance on the part of the father, and perhaps overcompensation by the mother, who occasionally overrules.
I want to see a kid get stabbed.
Loy sauce. Wow. We have podcast Rob Newsies.
No,
We have
I've never
Gerald
actually
with
seen
Children of the Corn.
but closer with Children of the Corn. So they hire professionals. The family hires professionals to understand what's leading to the children to act in the way that they do, and the mother either overrules or ignores their advice. ultimately, it appears that the real villain is this invisible yet omnipresent specter of corporate greed and fraud, including failure to disclose toxins within the home and
Now you
dishonesty
gonna die.
regarding the real
Dan says
estate.
Halloween 3.
Oh, I've never seen it. That's so cool. But that's terrible for horror movies. But it, I was actually told that they're not terribly dissimilar. It's where the real estate upon which the property was built.
Phil says BB's Kids.
I
Is
made
that
a
a movie?
reference.
I don't know. Or maybe
I-
Phil's just saying a thing. I don't know.
He maybe just should be talking about his neighbors. I don't know.
Ashley says Aaron Brockovich.
Because you said toxins, so they went
Toxins.
to
Well,
Aaron
it is sort of
Brockovich.
it is a toxin in an
And
environmental
then we have
sort of way.
not Bamf again. So Stu from Stu World Order, Poltergeist.
There we are. Yep.
And then everybody else answered, like, typed in the same thing. All three of the other answers popped in like a second after that one.
Poltergeist.
Interestingly, with this, my fun fact is that there's 3 children actors in it. 2 of them died in unusual ways. Heather O'Rourke was the little girl, Carol Ann, and she died of sepsis due to a bowel obstruction. And Dominique Dunn plays Dana, the oldest sibling, and she died by murder before Poltergeist 2 could come out, I believe.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a rough movie in a lot of ways for the actors involved.
And I think there's even in the sequels, there's a couple of actors in part 2 who passed away shortly after filming. So it's one of those cursed franchises, as they might say.
As they might say. They
But
might.
whoever guessed Halloween 3, I was like, hey, maybe they're a horror person. That's cool. So
All the best people are horror people.
I know, right? Okay. So for this next one, there's actually going to be a kind of a random bonus question at the end.
Ooh.
Just because I want to. So a quiet church-going community in Nebraska is turned upside down when virtually every person over the age of 18 is brutally murdered. Fuck, why can't I talk? Although no one is ever convicted of a crime. When a young couple on a road trip arrive on the scene, they themselves become targets for murder. But to their horror, they discover that the killers are actually a religious cult of children who worship an entity known for spending too much time in cornfields. What started as a leisurely...
I know Dan's just being an idiot, but he answered Kids in the Maze. AKA Children of the Corn, which is
That's it.
what podcast Rob and everybody else came in, but after that. But yeah, Dan got that one.
Okay, one for Kids
in spite
in
of
the
his
Maze.
smartassery.
Kids in the Maze, later retitled Children of the Corn. And I have this bonus question. You only get like 5 seconds to answer, okay? Because you could easily look it up. How many movies exist in the Children of the Corn franchise? Go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
I got a little
1.
dick. It's pathetic.
We have, some of these answers I don't know if they're serious, but the first one, He of the Hills, says 5. Podcast Rob says 7. Gerald says
guess.
6. I think some of these people are just playing the prices
Right.
right.
No, you guys, it's 11. There are 11.
That's
And you know
like-
what?
That's like as many as there are
66.
Culkins.
And a handful of there are just as, and maybe the Culkin children are behind these.
Are
movies. I
they
don't
in
know.
the corn? Yeah.
But there's a handful of the Children of the Corn movies are simply titled Children of the Corn. So there's, for some reason they keep making those movies. Maybe they keep making them because they knew we'd be doing a live stream for The Cure and that we
Maybe
needed
it's
material.
the never-ending story.
Exactly.
We'll still be doing this same segment for all 11.
Thank you, Nathaniel Edwards Brown, for the $10 donation. Cancer sucks. Yes, it indeed does. We also did have Krista donated a $5 donation over on the Cancer Research Institute site on behalf of Ignorance Was Bliss. Thank you so much, Krista, for that as well.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, guys, friends,
you.
people.
Friends. Okay.
Thanks, Nate.
okay. All right. This one's. I don't. I mean, this. I think this one's.
You have to do this.
I
You
have
agreed to
to.
do this. Are you
know,
backing out of the live stream?
No. Yeah, I
Okay.
quit. I'm not even going to podcast anymore. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Adolescents have a tendency toward impulsivity and frustration, especially when they're attempting to join pre-existing social groups as the new kid. Early on, existing in-groups might tolerate or even welcome someone, but if that person is perceived as a threat to the status quo, resistance can lead to isolation or violence. In this story about a high school boy, he first attempts to join the social
I
network at a
sucked
new
a
school.
dick last night.
Wow.
Busy.
Yeah, these are my sound drops, guys. We have Stu from Super World Order Clueless.
Nope.
And
Nope,
after
high
that,
school
we
boy.
had Ashley check in with Heathers.
Mm-mm.
Great
We have
movies,
He of
though.
the Hills, Mean Girls.
No, Heather's is closer in terms of timing of release.
Dan, I don't know what C9 is.
Neither do
Are
I.
you just naming? He's just naming Children of the Corn
I'm
sequels.
just
after
naming
Fast and
Children of the
Furious.
Corn sequels
God damn it.
after
Ideal.
Fast and Furious titles.
Yeah, C9. There you go. Which is also an explosive, so that's ideal. So-
Podcast Rob says, "Pump up the volume."
No. To deflect, he's not able to deflect conflict with words. So ultimately, he is the recipient of a wildly unbalanced assault by a group of teenagers.
We have Dan. I'm gonna ignore your answer of Break Into Electric Boogaloo, and we're gonna say it's Gerald has Karate Kid.
There it is. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And yeah, medical
Gerald.
in that movie, we ignore medical treatment, ignorance of head injury protocol in children's sports, and a neighbor interrupting the fight but not telling his mother. So I have thoughts socially about the Karate Kid. Also one of my favorite movies, but you know.
It is a great movie, and Gerald, you really came through. I don't think Kate thought that you could do it, but I did. I believed in you.
I had doubts, but Jacob's a much more positive individual than I am.
Okay. Yours are so much more clinical than mine, and it's just so representative of how different we are. That's why they keep getting mine so quick, because it's just easy, like me. Okay. So
I thought you were cheap.
cheap, easy, probably
Okay.
both. Okay. So it's the 4th of July in some small town in a state that Jacob can't remember right now. So fill in the blank with your. Okay. 4 high school seniors are celebrating and decide to go for a totally irresponsible and illegal drive while drinking. In their inebriation, they slam their car
You're
into
not
an
my fucking
unsuspecting.
mother.
Gerald, again, I know what you did last summer.
Gerald, I don't think you do know what we did last summer. And I'm a little pissed that you got that so quickly, because that was my longest description and I was really proud of it. But congratulations, it's for a good cause. Know what you did
Gerald is the word.
last summer.
That's one of the words, yeah.
Here's the thing is that movie is actually based on a book. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
By
that.
Lois Duncan. And Lois Duncan, her daughter, Caitlin, I think was her name, was murdered. So then Lois Duncan wrote a book called Who Killed My Daughter? So there's a real live true crime connection, and that murder is unsolved. And knowing Kate, who has these freaky true crime connections, she probably knows someone who's involved.
Probably.
So-
I mean, allegedly.
You know what? You know what the problem is. I figured out what the problem is, chat. I figured out what the problem is. I'm kicking him out of the whereby call. Gerald tipped $10. I know what you did last live stream. Love you guys. Yeah, so Gerald can hear the answers before everybody else because he's been in the call with us the whole time. So he gets to hear the answer, or he gets to hear the question way before chat does. So that's probably how Gerald's beating everybody to the punch so fast.
Are we on like a 5-second delay for wardrobe malfunction?
There wouldn't be
Jacob,
a
I
delay.
told you to stop doing that.
It'd be whatever the delay is, but yeah, I guarantee you that's how he's getting in faster than everybody else.
Well,
Gerald.
You know, he's
Kristen
wardrobe
Streams
malfunctions
said it
happen.
over in the chat. She's like, Gerald's a cheater. I'm like, you know what? He actually sort of is. because he's getting
See,
them.
my criticisms were not unfounded. So this changes everything. We have to come up with a whole new game. We only have 25 minutes left. What are we gonna do?
Damn it,
Well,
Gerald.
we're just gonna. Damn it, Gerald. We're just
God.
gonna make it worse. Okay. So I'm gonna go all psychobabbly on this one. Surprise.
Let's see how you
When
do now, Gerald.
When a parent or guardian views their child as a rival in appearance, in skills, or for affection, the dynamic is immediately in place for that parent to behave in immature and inappropriate ways at best, neglectful or abusive at worst. So, in this story, an attractive and apparently friendly girl is seen as a rival by her stepmother, who creates an environment of threats and violence until the girl believes her best option is to run away. As is common in runaway situations, she almost immediately is taken advantage of by much older men. Multiple.
We have Cinderella. Podcast Rob was the first one in.
Nope.
Then we have
That's
Snow
why-
White.
Yes.
Snow White was He of the Hills.
Yep.
That
Snow
was
White.
the loser sound from Price is Right.
It was. It was.
Dan, what the hell is Firewoman?
We're just making up things now. We're
Okay,
just
so
Mad
Ella
Libs.
is a very feminine kind of like thing, so that gets assigned a woman. Cinder is related to fire.
Thanks,
That's
Dan.
deep.
You're welcome. Goodbye now.
Well, that's like the voice of God. It just
It really,
It really is.
Hello? Are we in America Online?
Yeah, no, well, you know what? God doesn't want a hell of a lot to do with me. I think I have a lot of rage this week, so it's fine.
You're the fire woman. That's what they meant.
I am.
Oh, it's my turn. That's
It
me,
is.
Jacob. Partner in podcasting and live streaming for The Cure. Okay. In El Paso, Texas, a pregnant woman is set to marry the love of her life. But just as the wedding ceremony is taking place, a gang of brutal killers descend upon their church gathering and end up murdering every person in attendance, except for the
How
bride,
dare you?
who is beaten
All right.
so badly.
Maybe he wasn't cheating after all. Gerald's in first with Kill Bill.
Well, well,
We're taking
That-
notes.
is interesting.
My screen's the one that counts because I'm the one that's hosting the stream.
I just want to say, it's great when you know the answers, but sometimes patience is a virtue, because if you'd let me get through the entire description, I was going to go on to say some things that happen in Kill Bill Volume 2. So this could have been a double win, but instead it's only a single win. Sorry, Gerald.
That's an excellent guilt trip right there. Okay. Okay. So sometimes parents can make all of the right decisions and do things carefully and lovingly and all that shit, and bad things still happen. In this story, an infant loses his mother to violence, but his father does step up to raise the child in a protected and supportive environment. This is especially important because, along with the expected PTSD, the child also has a physical disability that leads to the father maybe erring in the direction of overprotectiveness. But that's better than violence and neglect, right?
Gil, just shut the fuck up.
We have Podcast Rob is in first with Finding Nemo.
That's the one.
Podcast Rob.
Podcast Rob.
Podcast Rob.
And,
You told me to shut the fuck up, so that's what I'm doing. I got it.
Rob.
Noted.
You're-
Thanks, Rob.
You're not Gil. Yeah, Podcast Rob is going to be coming up next. He's following right on your heels with some movie quote trivia.
Ooh,
I have to
that's
see if
cool.
I can defeat James Hatton, and I will.
Oh, we'll see about that. If you're as good as Gerald, you have a chance.
If only I were still on the channel, I would have gotten that, says Gerald.
Okay. This one was as I was writing this one, I realized some things about the movie that didn't really register with me before. So, a 16-year-old runaway thinks that she's in love with a guy she only met once. The guy woke up on a beach after nearly dying in the ocean, and the runaway meets up with a terribly bad influence who promises to help her infiltrate this man's life. The runaway begins pursuing this
You're
love
not my
interest.
dad.
We have Ashley in with the Little Mermaid.
Ah, how could it? How? Ah,
The seaweed is always greener. Somebody else's.
I really thought I'd get further with that one. Wow.
I mean, those of us who were 16-year-old girls in inappropriate relationships,
You're like,
it
oh,
resonated.
that's me. I remember that movie. That was me.
Absolutely.
Little Mermaid, based on the novel Push by
Little Mermaid.
Sapphire.
It's me. Well, just to let you know, I don't think we ever figured out how old the love interest was in that movie. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where it kind of like, as I was writing the description, I was like, wait a minute, 16, and the dude is not 16.
Not. He's more than.
Not younger than 16, definitely older than 16. So it's a bit shady. So I feel like my position has changed on who I support in that movie. Like I'm all like now I'm on the father's side.
I was going to say,
on the
I'm Team
16-year-old.
Ursula for that
You're
entirely.
you're Team Ursula. She's the one that fucks everything up.
I know.
Oh.
Well, that's fine. That's probably why I'm Team Ursula.
I get it. I get it though. You know, maybe I will be too someday. Okay. It's all on you, Kate.
All right. Cybercrime is a fascinating combination of rule breaking, law breaking, and the gray areas in between. The concept of a black hat hacker breaking into a network for purposes of mayhem or theft, and a white hat hacker breaking through the same security measures to help the host understand its vulnerabilities, can sometimes be blurred depending on whose perspective is being considered. Often, the hacker either is not especially concerned with the
Is
ethics.
it The Matrix? Says
It
Drew
is The
Hallam.
Matrix.
Drew Hallam. There you go.
Drew Hallam. Matrix.
And
Good.
you're. I had a whole other paragraph on constitutional law written for that one, so good on you for cutting me off there, Drew.
Kate, all of your work.
It's, you know what? I wasn't even listening to myself. We're good.
I have one of those like that where I'm in the middle of the description. I just wrote, "Fuck this." Jacob doesn't remember the movie. I could have researched them. I could have researched them. I did it all from memory, and I don't even remember the last live stream from last year. So, like I told you, okay.
She wrote it in a COVID-induced fever. So
I've been in and out and, oxygen deprived and also surrounded by sick kids. So, it's either COVID induced fever or banging my head on the wall until I'm no longer thinking. So it's good.
Oh, hey, I get it. All right. So, I'm giving too many clues away. Okay. A Michigan police officer thought to be killed in the line of duty is later seen roaming the city streets, enacting a brutal and punishing campaign against crime. It turns out that a mega corporation is
He said that he
responsible.
sucked the blood from the penis and put the balls in his mouth.
we have Stu from Stu World Order says Beverly Hills Cop.
No.
And then we have Dan. Dan coming in right after that. RoboCop.
How about Nobocop?
Oh
Yes, it is RoboCop.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't want to give that one. But you got it, Dan. It's
Fine,
RoboCop.
June, be that way.
Yeah. Dan, you're the new Gerald, aren't you? All right.
I mean, Dan's in the call too, so
Could be a little bit of.
I feel like there's some disparity here, or a discrepancy, some kind of D word that means it's not fair.
Genspiracy?
So
Probably. Okay. During a trial and in an underprepared, low security courtroom, a criminal psychologist watches as the defendant kills a police officer in the courtroom and attempts to kill her. She quickly develops what appears to be a sudden onset case of agoraphobia, which is not actually a thing. Whatever. She doesn't appear to take advantage of therapeutic techniques, instead living a pre-COVID isolation lifestyle. She was like hipster quarantine, staying home before it was cool.
Nick, shut the fuck up.
Phil Rude says copycat.
There's the one. Yep.
Oh, Phil Rude. There you go.
I have to say about Copycat, I have a quick, interesting tidbit. That's one of my favorite 90s thrillers. On our podcast, Happy Horror Time, we actually interviewed William McNamara, who played the killer in Copycat, and he's, the one that is the copycat. And he had some really interesting, revealing things to say about working with Sigourney Weaver. So if you want to know those secrets, you should tune into our podcast. I did not foresee an opportunity to plug the podcast. Obviously, I would never do that. This is happening naturally and organically.
I see that.
All right. My turn. So this one, oh my God. If I cannot
I'm
get
so
to the end
happy I
of this
have
one.
you as my best friend.
Jinx, thank you for following. Drew, I think you can answer as many times as you want to.
Go for it. We're just keeping track to keep wet out.
You
know?
can answer as many times as you'd like. How often you are right directly translates to how much you are in our good graces. So we will see. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can get through even half of this one. 2 minors mislead their friends and family by switching identities and working to infiltrate the lives of their parents for their own personal gain. One of the minors crosses international borders to live with the unknown family of the other minor.
Come on.
Damn it.
Let's get nuts.
He of the Hills, Parent Trap.
Ah. That's right.
Actually, it's actual miners. Coal miners. Like.
Oh, I should have said that. That would have been a nice way to throw him off, you know.
Phil Rude with Clone
whatever.
Wars in there.
Man. See, Clone Wars. Oh my God.
Yeah,
That would have been a fun.
It worked.
If it had been true. Man. Okay. All right. Fine. Just all of mine. Just answer very quickly and get it right and feel good about yourselves. Kate?
Do that. Feel good. Feel all the things. All of the things. All right. Sometimes a petty crime is met with fatal consequences.
Mm-hmm.
A young man engages in an illegal poker game and wins a small amount of money, barely enough to qualify as a misdemeanor, but enough to change his plans and place him in contact with a series of people he would not otherwise have encountered. There's a lot going on over there.
Stu from Stu World Order, Lay Vince.
Nope.
Then we
No,
have
but
Drew Hallam with Rounders.
I've never seen. I didn't
All
know I
right,
seen
last
that.
one we
I'm
got in
asking you,
here.
you know.
Gerald, that guy, Titanic.
That's it.
Damn it, Gerald.
Gerald.
Gerald, I am shocked that you know another answer. I mean, this is so unexpected. You know another one. You must be into movies.
Consider my pearls clutched.
Gerald wants us to paint him one of your French girls.
Okay, well, you know what you have to do then. All right. That was an additional joke that maybe you got, maybe you didn't. Okay.
There.
It's beautiful.
I know.
It's been 84 years since anyone's painted me like that. Okay. Let's see here.
84 years. Yeah, I sat through a lot of kids' sports practices this week, each of which lasted 84 years. So.
Okay, let's. Well, hey, you have 84 kids. It takes 84 years.
It's true.
Oh, my phone's ringing. That's my mom. Sorry, I told her not to call between 5 and 6. All right, so here we go. We're getting close to the end here. So I want to say again, thank you everyone for tuning in for another hour of live stream for The Cure. Thanks for having us back here, Nick and everyone. And let's see if you guys can get this one. Okay. I'm going to switch this around from what I was going to do before. So a woman goes searching through the woods for her missing father, only to become a missing person herself. When her father reemerges, no one in their town believes him when he says that his daughter is the victim of a crime. Having been captured. No.
Before I give the answer, I do want to point out that Phil Rude says if we can get to $9,000 before the end of the segment, he'll draw Gerald like one of your French girls.
Oh my God.
And then we had He of the Hills, Beauty and the Beast.
Damn, how? I hate it when my voice does that, but so King of the Hills. He of the Hills?
He of the Hills.
Okay.
Some guy who doesn't want you to win.
Fine. You got Beauty and the Beast.
Be like
and
that.
We congratulate you, He of the Hills. Great effing job. Your turn, Kate.
It is. What would a series of true crime narrative be without politics, right? Many of us
Right.
look at politics as an excuse to impose our views upon others, or a way of telling other people they're wrong, black and white thinking, or as a way for rich old white men to make more money at the expense of everyone else. All of these are true. In this biography of an American politician, we follow his origin story from being born outside the US, but emigrating here in his late teens or early 20s. He's not independently wealthy, but enough people think he's badass that
tearing me apart, Lisa!
Alan says Hamilton.
that's one.
Nice job, Alan. That
Oh.
one gets the smattering.
Okay. So maybe we have time for like one or two more, and then I'll give you I'll announce the winner, and it's at this point a total mystery. So oh yeah, they're gonna get this one really easily. All right. Unlike the others. A teenage girl who excels in math ends up betraying her friends so that she can remain part of a popular group of students. Skipping that line because it's too gives it away. Tensions
You're not my
escalate.
fucking mother!
No fucking way.
We still had Ashley jump in there with Mean Girls.
Okay, yeah. You got it, Ashley.
She's just going to say Mean Girls over and over and
Ashley-
over again until she's right.
Well, you know, she identifies with The Little Mermaid and Mean Girls. That's her life, apparently.
Which are pretty much the same, honestly.
They kind of are, because there are a number of mean girls in The Little Mermaid, and
And
know, so-
underage girls as well. Yeah.
underage.
fun.
You know,
I
up
have
to
2 left.
Gerald was
so-
going to say Children of the Corn again.
Probably.
statistically, it could have. Any of these movies can be Children of the Corn, one of the many from the franchise, since there's a million of them.
So I'll do one more and you do one more. I don't know if this one will like it. I think people in the group will know this one. At least some of them. I think Phil will know this one. I don't know. The ethics of medical research and treatment aren't just matters for academia and meetings. Sometimes they have real-world risks and impacts. This is the story of a highly esteemed instructor and physician who has demonstrably benefited from his family's wealth.
movies? Drew Hallam, Patch Adams.
Oh no,
Oh,
But
Gerald
who?
says Gerald, the fugitive.
probably Gerald. Gerald says which?
The fugitive.
No. But I mean, think about that.
I wrote down Gerald and like check as a winner, even
assumed.
just out of
Ashley
habit.
says Gattaca. Jinx says Sleepers.
Wow, you guys just watched a lot of medical thrillers. You guys feeling okay?
Phil
Like-
Rude says Whiplash. And then he says Dr. Whiplash.
Dr. Whiplash.
Okay, I think you got to keep going.
He insists, in an attitude that is sadly common in many schools and businesses, that he attained his status entirely on his own. His resistance doesn't go so far as to decline an inheritance so he eventually returns to the family home to collect
Oh,
things
yes,
he
Pod
wants.
Daddy.
No, Ashley, I'm going to say it. To Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
That's a great movie, but well, going through his relative
Drew
papers,
says From Hell.
he discovers important scientific information and ultimately reclaims the family name and credit for all of their previous work. In the process, he engages in workplace sexual harassment,
Dr. Hollywood.
theft of medical specimens, medical experimentation without consent, and alienation of the larger community. There are also related events of arson, abduction, and sexual
Hang
assault.
him! Kill him! Hang him! Hit him!
We
Yeah, that
have
stuff.
Gerald with Iron Man. I don't think it's Iron Man.
I don't think so.
Jinx 316, Young Frankenstein.
There it is.
There you go. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Frau
Jinx,
Brucher.
you owe me a Coke. You got it. Young Frankenstein. Kate, believe it or not, actually, you should believe it. I don't have any more.
You don't have any more.
But I think you
that's
do.
Right. That's right. I do. I have one. We have time. We have time. This one's.
You got it.
This one. All right. This is. I'm going to go all feminist on this one because I'm like that. Throughout much of human history, and depending on sociopolitical culture and geography, still to some extent today, women have existed within a patriarchal society that dictates how and where they live, whether they can possess or inherit property, and if they have any value at all apart from their marital and maternal status. Women who seek to advocate for themselves or their children are often portrayed as shrill or unreasonable by both strangers and loved ones, especially if this powerlessness creates anxiety. This piece focuses on the background of three families, one with great wealth.
Go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Jinx says Mulan.
No, one with great wealth and very few overt stresses, which makes them distant and also frequently rude.
Ashley says, trick question, people. This isn't a movie, it's real life. Drew Hallam says The Witch.
It is true life. The second is well off, but more socially precarious. The brother feels responsible for a number of sisters and hangers-on. And the third family is large family with a small bank account and socially insignificant. The first two families are friendly with each other and largely are able
Anyway,
to
how is your
insult
sex
whoever
life?
they want to.
Knives Out. Pride and
What's that?
Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice. There we are.
Oh, there you go. He of the Hills. Got it. He of the Hills.
He
Nice.
of the Hills. Great job.
Good job, everyone.
Everyone. Great job. Yeah. Wow.
It's not too late to get Gerald painted like a French girl. We got to just get it to 9K quick.
And look, so do I have a second to go over the
You do.
results?
Go right ahead.
Do the thing.
So I won't, call out any of the people who didn't win their specific numbers, but a lot of people got multiple answers right. Let me just look through here and count how many answers Gerald got right. Okay, wow. It's quite a bit here.
That's a lot of numbers. I have
okay,
27
so-
of mine. I only wrote 15, but he got 27 correct on mine.
He got 84,000 correct. So Gerald is the winner, but everybody did really well. And we're so grateful that you guys tuned in for live stream for The Cure.
And I just threw it was Willem's donation, but our PayPal got screwed up, so I just threw in a thing.
A $100 donation.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
from
Kate.
my husband. So
Thank you so much. Thank you both so much.
did
for
that
being
get us
here.
over? Is Phil drawing?
We're
Drew
not
like a
ready to
French girl?
paint Gerald like a French girl just
Ger-
yet.
Gerald,
Maybe
Gerald.
if somebody can get that last little bit and get us to $9,000 while you guys tell, because you guys have a new project.
We
are
have a new
working on.
project coming out.
Tell us
yeah.
about it.
So Jacob found it. It's a, you kind of, when you're in this is a true crime, real, actual, terrible thing. And when you're in the sphere, sometimes you get wandering through newspapers and and he found this little clipping referring to this murder that happened in Washington State in October 1977. That seems like this horrific thing. It seems like the kind of thing that they base movie franchises on. And no one has talked about it. No one has written a book about it. Nobody's covered it on a podcast. And this girl that was at the center of the case deserves her story to be told and deserves to be remembered for it. And so Jacob, in a flash of brilliance, filed for a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act, and then asked me if I wanted to join in. So I get to play. And so we're doing a scripted deep dive true crime podcast into this case. We have literally a foot's worth of paper stacked up of all of these court cases and police reports and the like. So we're putting it together. It's really exciting. It's going to be called The Same River Twice, and we're aiming for later this year.
I can't wait. You two are amazing. Thank you so much. This was so much fun, especially for Gerald, apparently.
Gerald. No, thank you so much, Gerald. Really.
Thank you both so much. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Kate from Ignorance Was Bliss, and then Jacob from Crime of Your Life, and then, of course, The Same River Twice, coming soon to a podcatcher near you. Thank you so much. And now,